Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Lorcana Locals, where I'm battling against my fellow locals to see, basically, how things go with my crazy wacky decks in real life. Because I thought this would be a really fun series of videos to post out there for you Lorcana fans. And we get to look back at the games anyway and see how quirky they actually went. Today, I am at Geek Retreat, my local go-to place for all things Lorcana and just geeky bits in general. Not sponsored by Geek Retreat, they're just a really nice bunch of guys. So I highly support them, and I highly support you going to your local Geek Retreat for some more gaming fun times. If you don't have a local Geek Retreat of yours, but you have another store that you support locally, be sure to keep going there, support your locals, because without our locals, there's no Lorcana. Simple as that. Today, you have me with my Ruby, Amethyst, Li Shang, AGGRO, slight control deck that I have going on. I don't have a quirky name for it. Maybe you guys can think of a quirky name for me down in the comments. Whilst I'm going against Ruth, shout out to Ruth, and she's bringing to the game her Amber Ruby AGGRO deck. I believe it was Amber Ruby. I'm going to be completely wrong if I end up seeing this. May have been Amber Amethyst, but I know Amber's definitely in there because there's a bunch of bodyguards and a bunch of high questing peeps. Let's see how the games go. It's another aggro deck, so you know I'm really looking forward to this. No, I love playing with Ruth. She's a great person. I've been helping her out build her deck as well with some great advice here and there. This deck was genuinely terrifying to go against, and you'll see as the game goes on. I start off with a 1-drop Li Shang. And it is Amethyst, haha! There you go, I got it wrong. Call me out in the comments, people. Oh, he doesn't even know. But no, Amber Amethyst Ruth is playing, whilst I've got my Ruby Amethyst instead. Let's see how interesting this turns out. Turn 2 on my end, still early game. Now I understand that I've got threats on the board. Time to ink that magic carpet away. Pay for 2. Bring out the Lumiere. So at least Li Shang is a 3-2 and we start to get things online. I decide to discard the Chernobog followers in order to shift into the big Li Shang, immediately becoming a 4-2, allowing me to quest for 2. There's me explaining how the tech works with Ruth. Immediately taking me up to 2 lore, and I'm going to need to aggro a little bit myself in order to catch up with some of these plays. There comes out turn 2 Simba, classic first chapter plays, and I love to see them. Immediately going up by 2, youch, it begins. The race is on. Now I can keep questing for 2, which gives me a distinct advantage. I ink the castle because I'm just not going to benefit from it at this moment in time. Play out a second Li Shang just raw, and now they stack up. So with 2 Li Shangs out, that 1 Li Shang is now going to quest for 3 instead of 2. Do I take advantage? Of course I do. I go from 2 to 5. Beautiful work. I keep Lumiere vertical because there's no point questing, because all Ruth would need to do is tackle into it with Simba. Simba would stay alive. I lose out my Lumiere and lose out on my little aggro engine I've currently got going on. There's an ink of a Mickey over on Ruth's end, and she brings out Piglet. Piglet going to be a +3 for her lore gains because of the amount of characters Ruth has out on the board. Plays out another Maleficent as well for some great questing plays. Quest for 2. Is she going to swing? Is she going to quest? Decides to swing. Goes for the trade. I don't blame her, because I could have just quested for pretty big next turn. In fairness, I would have quested for 3 on both Li Shangs, which is mad, taking me into the double digits quite early on in this deck. So instead, I have 4, go into the Merlin Rabbit, get an extra card draw out on the board. Do I quest with Li Shang or do I swing? Because I need to manage Ruth's board as best as I can whilst I am building up my own plays. The trick is, Piglet won't benefit unless there are 2 characters out on the board. I am, however, going to risk it for a biscuit, quest for 2 with Li Shang and swing at Maleficent, taking that 1 damage onto Lumiere. So at least, if Ruth wants to get rid of my Lumiere, that's going to have to be a trade from Maleficent or a trait from Piglet, and that's it. Plays out Donald as a bodyguard. Donald gives +1 lore to the Piglet. Piglet now quests for 4, which is mental. Gains an extra 2 off of Maleficent as well. Really big lore gains. Very, very scary. This is why I always get scared whenever I'm playing against aggro decks, because you need to chase, but whilst you're chasing you also need to run at a relative pace. So it's like as if I'm chasing with a grapple hook and I'm trying to do "get over here" like Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Tough times, but how am I going to handle this scenario on the board currently? I can't just swing wildly because there is a Donald in play. That 2-3 is a little bit of a bummer right now. However, I could potentially get rid of it with any of my guys, preferably the rabbit, because my rabbit is at 3, which is good, but I would need to take out 2 threats if I'm all honest, just to try doing some things. Here we are. You see the hands doing their thinking, doing their talking, trying to think of an idea. I'm going to ink Brawl. I just have to make the decision. Get out Medallion Weights because I feel as if I need the card draw. Pay 2. Medallion Weights. Medallion Weights onto the Merlin Rabbit. Merlin Rabbit swinging into Donald because Donald has bodyguard. Goes. I take 2 damage, but I get the card draw off of Medallion Weights, which is better than nothing. Do I quest with Li Shang? No, I swing with Li Shang instead. I need to control the board that a little bit. Get rid of Maleficent. Now Piglet is offline entirely, and Ruth needs to play out 2 characters in order to bring Piglet back on. Big benefit to me, but let's see if this works. I have damaged characters out on the board. What is Ruth going to do? Plays out Pinocchio, of course, and plays out an Illuminary Keeper Broom for some additional card draw. Very good stuff. Piglet comes immediately back online. Quest for 3. Oh lord. I think Piglet is now my new threat that I need to deal with. But what am I going to do? Let's find out. I draw into a Super Goof. Yes, you saw that right. And Super Goof here is really nice. I'm going to ink the Goat because Goat at this moment in time is not useful. Pay out for Super Goof. And I'm just thinking, do I do Medallion Weights? Yes, I do. Pay the 2. Use Medallion Weights. Put Medallion Weights onto Super Goof, I believe. There's me just saying, wait a minute. No, I'm going to put it on Super Goof. It's stupid to put it on Merlin Rabbit. Super Goof into Piglet. Gets rid of Piglet. Didn't need the extra attack to really get rid of her, but it's okay. Take the 2 damage from the Piggles. I get 2 lore and a card draw off of Medallion Weights. I drew the card. Do I remember to gain the lore? Please don't let it be like that last game against Laura where I forgot to gain the lore off of Queen's Castle. There you go, I remembered. Top man goes up to 10. Fantabby-dozy. And I remember that as well. Look at me. I can play games too and kind of remember what my deck does. So here we go. The chase is on. And we're still in the game. And with Super Goof online, it's going to make a big threat that Ruth has to deal with. Fun fact, by the way, in case you're interested. Yes, Ruth does have all of those Pandora beads. And those Pandora beads are pretty much Disneyfied. It's awesome. Shout out to Ruth and your beads. Big questing going on Ruth's side. Questing for 4 overall. And just passing it straight over to me. Bring the threats out. Quest for 4. Maybe Ruth has a secret plan of action in her hand. I don't know. Draw 1 card. That is a Mim Fox that I drew into my hand. But what do I do? Let's try and think this out off the top of my head. There's me just explaining to Ruth how Li Shang works, so she understands basically the whole tech of the deck and how trippy it actually becomes. And now I'm just thinking, I know what's in my hand, I know what I can do, but what am I going to benefit from the most? Plays out Medusa! Hell yeah! We get Madame Medusa out on the board. I get rid of Pinocchio, because I can basically pick any of the targets, but I just don't like Noki. He has a big nose. Tackle into Illuminary Keeper with Super Goof. I get my 2 lore from the tackle. which is fantastic. Go up to 14 with that alone. Can't use medallion weights, but that's absolutely fine. A quest with everybody else. Go up to 18. It is effectively endgame. Ruth needs to pull out something big. She can't. Bricky hand. Youch, I feel for Ruth on that one. End of game 1. Time to enter game 2. Okay, so game 2 fun times is here. Ruth is going to start us off. She inks a Sorcerer's Tower, plays into Maleficent nice and early for the 2 lore questing fun times. Meanwhile, on my turn, I ink, I believe that's Brawl, down there in order to play out Chernobog followers, hopefully being able to allow me to draw a card or get rid of threats very early on if I so need to. Well, we shall see, shall we? We shall see. Ruth now with 2 ink on the board. Quests with Maleficent for 2. Gets the aggro started and plays out a Mim Snake, bouncing back the Maleficent. Big threat on the board. Scary fun times I don't like. I draw for my turn. Ink the magic carpet I just drew into because I just don't need it. Not at this moment in time. And then pay the 2 and play out a new magic carpet. Well, hey, we're basically going to look at, I believe I pulled out a Queen's Castle on this one, and that's why I decided to play out the magic carpet, but we shall see. Quest for 1 with Chernobog followers, use the effect, get the card draw, move over to Ruth's turn. Pretty bog standard to start us off with, but we shall see. I'm also putting out a magic carpet there because if Ruth does have any evasive cards, at least I am ready to get rid of them. Just in case, but I don't think Ruth does in her deck. Brings out Donald Duck, doesn't turn Donald into bodyguard, but gives the +1 to Mim Snake, so Mim Snake at least quest for 2. Big benefit, fantastic work, go to my turn. Because there is no way I'm tackling in anyway. So why not? Smart move from Ruth. You don't need to make a bodyguard unless it is going to be a benefit to you in the end of the day. After thinking about it in my hands, I have to make the decision. I ink the medallion weights, and after looking at my hand, looking at the board, doing some handy thinking, pay the 3, go into the evasive aerial. That gives my characters evasive after playing out a song, but a very nice, easy, evasive character just to have out. It was the best thing I had in my hand. I didn't have a lot of other options at this time, and as you can probably guess, if I don't have a lot of options against an aggro deck, it can only go downhill from here. And spoilers, it'll gonna go downhill, and you see Baloo comes into play with bodyguard. If you don't know how Baloo works, basically Baloo is a bodyguard, 0-3 bodyguard, and whenever Baloo is banished, you just gain 2 lore. Doesn't matter whether it's via a challenge, doesn't matter whether it's via an effect. If Baloo goes, your lore gets +2. Mad. It's one of the best bodyguards in Amber, alongside Donald. Donald Duck and Baloo are both absolutely incredible. And Ruth also finishes off her board with another Maleficent. Yeah, I'm really behind on the lore gains here and the control. I don't know what to do. I just have to play our castle, put a thread out, use magic carpet, put Ariel into the castle so I can at least do a thing. Quest for 1. I'm now on 3, but I'm not going to lie, the pants are getting wet. I don't know what's going to happen because that is a monstrous board. The ironic part is, yes, I have access to be prepared. Kind of need 7 ink to make that happen, and this early on in the game, it's not happening. So all of my efforts to try and control the board are failing because there's no control of the board. Ruth's just going to chill out and start the questing engine once more. Uses friends on the other side by singing it with Donald. Fantastic use of Donald, by the way. I really love that idea. Decides to quest with Maleficent to gain 2. Swings into a magic castle. I guess it's a magical castle if you really think about it. Into Queen's Castle for 3 with the Mim Snake. And plays out 2 piglets. If you count that on the board, ladies and gentlemen, not including Baloo's effect while also questing for 1, that is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 lore on the board on Ruth's side. I gained 2 from Queen's Castle, and I'm not going to lie, I don't think I'm winning at all. But I'm thinking, I'm looking at Ruth, and I'm saying to her, okay, I'm going to let you win, but I'm going to help you win. I'm going to do something cheeky to help you win. Because I feel as if we should make this game funny. And if you're going to have fun at your locals, why not have some fun plays if you know you're not going to win, right? Just let it all out and play for fun at this rate. So I've pretty much lost next turn with the sheer amount of lore that is now on the board. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I've got something funny I can do here. Let's do the funny, shall we? Should we? Maybe? Yeah. So after seeing everything that I just can't do, it's time to do the funnies. There's a Queen's Castle. Yay! More card draw that I can't really benefit from. Yay! And then we're going to pay the 1, move Magic Carpet into my second Queen's Castle. And what do? I tell you what we do. We just quest. We just quest. We go to 7. And it's Ruth's turn. I want to see Ruth just absolutely body me with the sheer amount of lore she is going to get this turn. It's absolutely insane. Draws card. Readies the ink. 4 in Inkwell. Inks a Musketeer Goofy. Sings Friends on the other side. With Donald for 2 extra cards in hand. Really scary aggro plays. Really, really scary. I shouldn't have helped Ruth. No. I would gladly help anyone with deck building, regardless of their skill level. Because I think that's the only way to learn, right? You don't know about these quirky deck techs unless you bounce ideas off of other people and get to know. It's just how things work. That's why trading card games are really fun, especially at your locals. So do it today. Big quest there with 2 piglets, with the Maleficent, with the Baloo, with the Mim Snake. Very intimidating. Effectively, and there's the goat. Just to rub salt into the wound, to make it even deeper, even more sting. Yeah, I have no chance. Ruth has the perfect board, and I just have no way to clear it. This is terrifying. So there's me thinking it was last term where I was about to do something that would be funny to end the game. I actually think it was this turn instead, where I draw the 1 card I need to make the fun times go. Well, I actually draw 3 cards because I have 2 Queen's Castles with 1 character each on the castles, and I then draw for turn. So at least I get 3 cards in my hand. Do any of them help me? I don't know. No, they don't. They really don't. Regardless of what I have in my hand, I cannot control the board on this level. And we are currently sitting at a stage where I can go up to 6 ink. That's not Be Prepared level. So I can't even Be Prepared the board. So if you've already put a comment down below saying, oh, you can just play Be Prepared, I'm not at 7 ink. I can't do it. There's the 6 ink with Mary's Fishhook. There's me trying to piece everything out of my mind and double check that, yep, I'm pretty darn screwed. But what's the funny thing I can do here? I can either try and play serious or just play funny, and I do end up going with a funny pick. I love it. This is when I'm just explaining to Ruth, I'm going to help you win, but by helping you win, I feel like I've won. You know, I've won via friendship. So here we go. We play out Lumiere, just because, buffs up everything by 1. And we Magic Carpet into the Baloo. Baloo gives Ruth 2 lore. That's the end of the game. Time, ladies and gentlemen, to flash forward. It's game 3 against Ruth's aggro. Wish me luck. Okay, here we go. The big decider against these 2 decks. Who is going to finally win it? I start off with a bit of an ink there. Play straight into the 1-drop Li Shang. And let's see how the pace of this game is going to go. There's a Queen's Castle being dropped by Ruth into Lilo. Straight from the first chapter. Great to see her still being used in aggro decks to this day. Legendary card. And then slap down a goat. It's way too early to goat or think about goat at this moment in time. But what am I possibly going to do now? I wonder. No, I'm just going to quest for 1 with Li Shang, go up to 1 lore, start fresh on the board, pay 2, go into Mim Snake, bounce back the Li Shang, and give it back over to Ruth. So at least I have a big character on board, can get rid of a couple of threats, swing in a couple of times just to control the board somewhat. That's my logic at least. And Ruth knocking out the first chapter classic plays with Simba Bodyguard. Look at that. It's like the first chapter all over again. I absolutely love it. So we have Simba bodyguarding Lilo. Lilo quest for another 2 lore. Ruth sitting on a really solid 4 lore, I believe, at this moment in time. Meanwhile, in my hand, it's going okay. I'm going to ink a 1-drop Li Shang. Thinking to myself what I want to do here. It's time to pay 3. It is... It's a brawl. I'm going to brawl away the Simba and smack into the Lilo, controlling that board in its entirety. Hand it back over to Ruth. What a play. And that's what the sweet, sweet balancing act is when you go against aggro. It's a balance of chasing and running at the same time. You need to control the board so they don't get their lore game out. But at the same time, you need to actually quest and win the game. Your win con versus their win con, and it's a race against time. So I pull into a super goof there, which gives me some fantastic ideas. He doesn't come online just yet, so I need to think of a plan of what to do now. So right now we're going to ink Chernobog followers, which gives me the big 4 lore. I'm going to use 3 of it to go into Lumiere. Fantastic. I just said lore. I should have said ink. I do apologize. Quest with the snake going up to 2. There's not a lot else to do. Move along. At least the snake is now on 4 attack. So if I do play into the big Li Shang, snake can now quest for 2 instead of 1. So that's a future bonus. But look at that. Plays out the Donald. Donald goes with the Pinocchio. Pinocchio now questing for 4. Maleficent questing for 3. No, only questing for 2. What am I doing? I've been doing a bunch of these commentary videos back to back, so I apologize if I'm just fluffing up everywhere. Absolutely terrible. No, let's do it correctly. Bodyguard, Donald, played. +1 lore to Pinocchio. Pinocchio quests for 4. Maleficent quests for 2. Ruth's turn. That's it. Okay? Happy? Great. Make fun of me in the comments. You have my permission to make fun of me in the comments, but no swear words. If there are any swear words, there'll be some big tellings off. This is a family channel. Well, it's not, but you know what I mean. I'm just having banter. So we have threats on the board to deal with. We have a Donald Duck bodyguarding 2 high aggro cards, and I need to somehow control the board while hopefully getting closer to my win con. Whatever shall I do? With 4 ink in play, we're going to make a 5 inking Mim Fox. And instead, we're going to play out the big Maui. That's what we wanted. Maui will immediately smack into the Donald, getting rid of him. This gives me some leeway to help control the board that a little bit more as well. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to snake into Pinocchio, take 1 damage. And Lumiere into Maleficent, take 1 damage. And effectively, the board is back in my favor. Thanks to Maui, we were able to clear the entire thing. I could have used Fox, but there was just no benefit. If I had an option between Fox and Maui, I would go Maui, because he immediately comes online. He's a bigger threat, he's a bigger boy, and we need those big boy plays. There's Ruth there playing out Baloo in bodyguard mode, because if I just tackle into Baloo, guess what? 3-2 lore for Ruth. So why not just play it in bodyguard mode and let your opponent cry? I'm going to sing Friends on the Other Side with Maui, drawing 2 cards. Just remember, you can do that. Reckless makes it so that you have to attack each turn if able, but if you don't declare an attack, because at any point during your turn you have to declare the attack, you can still sing with Maui to deny the Reckless need for attacking. So that's absolutely fine. Then we play out a Lumiere, and on top of the Lumiere we play out Super Goof. Super Goof is now a 4/4, swings into Baloo, gets rid of Baloo. Ruth goes up by 2, but so do I, thanks to Super Goof, so I'm sitting on 4. It's better than nothing. I then go up to 6, thanks to questing with all my other characters at the time, and we are good to go. I'm somehow keeping in this game. And because I tackled into Baloo with Super Goof, that was probably the best outcome I could have gotten. Because yes, Ruth gains 2 lore, but Ruth now has nothing on board. While me, I have a full board full of characters that can just casually quest each turn, if able. I don't necessarily need to challenge into things. So Ruth plays out a Donald of the Duck, can only really target itself, but doesn't get the benefit of being able to quest. No point playing the Duck as a bodyguard, or else it's just going to get smacked by Maui or something. So, good move by Ruth. Needs to do something, but doesn't have a lot of options in her hand at the moment. There's Madame Medusa. More control. So Medusa's now out. Medusa will get rid of Donald Duck. And that just leaves me to quest with absolutely everybody. We don't have the Li Shang to really benefit off of the Lumiere buffs, but that is still a juicy 4 lore. I can't argue with that. I'm now sitting on 10. We are getting there. And there's a Luminary Keeper Broom from Ruth. Is she able to play anything else to benefit from the card draw? Ooh, thinking about the Mimfox. Thinking about the Mimfox. Is Ruth going to do it? That's the question here. Thinking about it a little bit more. Is it going to be viable? Ooh. I think Ruth is going to do it. Yes. Commits to the Mimfox. Bounces back. And now, what will Mimfox tackle into? You've got a lot of viable options here. And in fairness, it was a tough choice for Ruth, because she just needs to pick the one thing that's going to be way too beneficial for me. And that is Super Goof. Because if Super Goof is just able to attack into her low willpower, low attack characters every single turn, I will eventually catch up. Yes, it's a trade. Yes, Ruth still has nothing on board, but if Ruth had nothing else better to do, I think that's the better call. She needed to get rid of something to slow me down somewhat. I just play out the rest of my hand, a Li Shang and a Chernobog followers, and we begin the questing yet again. Questing for 4, and we're up to 14. Next turn, we go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on board. That is 20 exactly. So Ruth needs to get rid of 1 threat to ever be a problem. There's Sorcerer's Tower, but this makes me happy. It's a broom! And Sorcerer's Tower! Brooms! Yeah! We love brooms. Tell me you love brooms down in the comments. Brooms have been in every single one of these games, and that makes me a very happy boy. But now, with all of that in mind, it is time to see what we can do. There's a Queen's Castle, and GG, all the guys questing for game. That is it. Shake hands with Ruth. Ruth was a fantastic person to play against, always is. Shout out to Ruth, shout out to Geek Retreat, and shout out to you guys out there for watching this video. If you enjoyed and you want to check out more Lorcana action in the future, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell down below so you will not miss out on anything. Whilst you're down there, check out the description, because you can check out the deck I have been using at my locals with a link on my Discord server, where I have all the decks that I make on there, as well as decks that I'm making as part of deck build challenges over on TikTok as well. Speaking of which, did you know I'm also on TikTok, and you can follow me over on there as well, and you can access that in the description below. I know! What a segue! Classic! And whilst you're there, you're going to get even more Lorcana content, more action fun times, and be a part of one of the most explosive communities out there. So until next time, folks, I hope you enjoyed these videos. I'll be seeing you next time for more Lorcana action or any other action here on the channel. Stay safe, stay awesome, and most importantly, stay explosive. And I'll be seeing you guys next time.